Congratulations, you've unlocked All Apologies, a show about apology tours and demanding satisfaction. I'm your host, Trucker Andy, and with me, as always, is your co-host, Joe Sixpack.
He's a fucking Chad.
Joe, what's going on?
666.
What's up, everybody? 9/11 to go over allapologiespodcast.com to find the links to our Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. Go there, like, comment, apologize. Refuse to apologize or demand an apology, and we continue to ask you to subscribe to the YouTube channel and grow that community. Andy's laughing because he knows whenever I want you to remember something now, I say 9/11 because I never forget. Never forget to do that, everyone.
I was going to say, is this like a lingo that I'm not hip to? Do people know what that means when you say that? Or is it like fetch? It's something that you're trying to make happen.
I'm making it a thing.
Okay.
9/11 to do it.
Yeah. 9/11 to subscribe to our YouTube and our Instagram. Good. Keep it classy, Joe. Thank you. Well, we keep it.
Hey, the worst thing you could do is forget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sure your champion 9/11 makes our guest very comfortable. Please welcome to the show, Luigi Greenberg.
Oh, he's dancing up a storm over here. He's cutting shapes. He's dancing his way off the show after my comments.
I probably should have put music on, so this makes sense.
Hey, Luigi.
I don't know. Still figuring out a new software where we also have a new jumped ship on StreamYard.
Yeah, fuck you, StreamYard. I'm demanding an apology from StreamYard.
It's fine. Luigi, let's make it all about the guest, Joe. Luigi, welcome to the show.
Not hearing him.
We're not
shit. I've been muted this whole fuck.
Yeah, there you are.
Oh my God. I feel so stupid. God damn it. You totally missed my funny line. I said that I was just coming back from a Diddy party and I was still very oiled up.
Now the dancing makes sense. I was like, why is there no music to the dance?
Yes. Damn it. Fucking mute button. Okay, let's do it again. And this time act surprised.
Yeah.
Anyway, go over to our Patreon to find our Diddy party breakdown with Luigi.
We just did the reveal. I was saying behind the paywall that when I did Skeptical Robot with Luigi and Corn Diff and the Great Gummy Chainsaw was in the mix, that I wanted to have Luigi on, and he asked, I was explaining our format, and he said, "Did you do Sal Governale from Howard Stern yet?" And it's a no-brainer that we never thought to do. So I had to have Luigi on so that we could cover Sal Governale from Howard Stern. And we just spent a good 10 minutes watching the big reveal on Patreon. So if you want to see that, because we don't want to show the Howard Stern show too much because we don't want to get struck. But if you want to see that and us laughing our asses off at it, then that is on our Patreon. But everything else, I have the whole everything we didn't see leading up to that moment, guys, I have for us now. So we were talking about.
Oh, I just want to say, Andy, we've only just recently made a connection and started talking. You came on the show, but I already value you as a friend because you are probably the only person in my life who has a healthy respect for Frank Dukes, the movie Bloodsport, and Sal Governale.
And Bionic Diagram.
And Bionic 6, and coming this week, Miami Connection.
You've really found your people.
So,
Bionic 6. Remember the theme song?
Oh yeah. I was trying to remember all
what I want everyone to remember about Bionic 6 is that everybody was like, Mom 1, Father 1, Sport 1, Rock 1,
Mother 1.
And then the black guy was IQ. Can we make him more other? Oh, but he's smart. That's all right. He's intelligent, but not one of us.
Yeah.
We want to make it clear, if it wasn't already. He is
the Asian karate one. There was
Yes,
also
yes.
karate one.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the writers' room pitched Dong 1 or
Hashimoto
Yeah.
6. Now, what's funny is watch Bionic 6 and then watch Captain Planet, and it's essentially the same show.
You know what?
Captain
You know what we were
Planet, though.
watching today over at my friend's house was Turbo Kid. Do you or not Turbo Kid?
Hmm.
It was the kid turned into a Corvette. Do you remember this? It was so stupid.
Yes,
Yeah.
and like it was a Corvette, and only his head would pop up.
Like his
yes.
mouth would go real wide, and his eyes would turn into the headlights. It was so stupid, man. What was that? I got
and his hand turned into the wheels.
Yeah, yep.
And oh my god, what a deep cut, man! All the visuals are in my head, but I don't remember like much about it. But oh my god, he wore the red shirt and it had like a white collar.
Yep,
I remember so much about it. But
that's exactly
man, that's funny.
Yeah, that was like a step below plastic.
Turbo Teen. It was called Turbo
Teen. Oh wow, that is funny. Man, that's a deep cut, dude. Good for you.
That's a shit cartoon too, and rachist. Like there's an Indian guy who always has a monkey on his shoulder, and they're just like,
I don't remember that.
Man, it's go check it out. Not good.
Oh wow.
2K should be watching that on his movie night tonight. They watch the Mike Tyson mysteries, and I think they're running out of episodes.
I did like that show. You know, you guys might like. There's a couple of channels I watch that talk about old cartoons, and so maybe we can do some sharing because I watch stuff. And one thing that actually recently came up in my feed was Herculoids. Do you remember that one? Herculoids.
Yeah. That sounds familiar. I don't remember it specifically, but
it was a Hanna-Barbera post-apocalyptic science fiction, but also kind of fantasy Dungeons and Dragons. It spanned a lot of genres, but trust me, I think you probably recognize it if you saw like visual from it. But
the other dog shit one that we were talking about today was Pro Stars, which was a cartoon with Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, and Bo Jackson.
What? I don't remember that at all.
Wow. I remember that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
My God, are we just going to be here all night remembering cartoons?
I hope so.
That's a show for a different day.
No. Okay.
I mean, I'm only stopping it because I know we could talk about this all night, but that's not. If I just steer the ADD back in the right direction, then we can get back to Sal Governale's hilarious apology.
Racist rant.
Yeah, we have a lot of. So this came up on the wrap-up show that they always used to do, and I've taken to describing the Dabbleverse this way about that. The whole Dabbleverse is basically just a wrap-up show of all of Howard Stern and Opie and Anthony, and there's so many people that
that's fair.
It's filling that void for people. And that's why it's kind of so beloved and still has a fan base because they don't really make content like Howard Stern and Opie and Anthony anymore. So people that enjoyed that are now enjoying the Dabbleverse. But so Sal is on the wrap-up show proper, and they were talking about Miss Howard Stern, who is, if you don't know, is this dingbat that would just parade around in a bikini, and she was kind of an idiot with a weird voice, but she was hot.
She was a sexy woman with a head injury.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also the voice, is all about the radio. It was all about the radio too, right? So like she needed to be hot, but also that voice was gold for the radio because she sounded like a child.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all I remember was that one clip they would drop of her saying thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And then the deeper you dive, the more you realize how shallow the pool is with her.
Oh man, and she was, I mean, like her backstory was pretty fucking dark too. Like it was It was dark. Like she really did have a head injury, and and then lived with her parents into her 30s because she couldn't take care of herself or drive, and then got pregnant, and then decided to sexify herself. It was dark and weird, but she was hot.
And Sal will tell you how dark it got.
Oh, hold on. I got something for that.
It's our channel, so I have this. But we did talk about briefly.
Oh, I have one of those too.
That's not appropriate. We talked briefly about the fact that Casey Armstrong, this was on Patreon, that Casey actually did sleep with Mrs. Howard Stern. But I think
they dated for a little while. I think.
That makes sense. Casey's the kind of guy that could put up with that personality. But my other point was that I think Sal was infatuated with Miss Howard Stern. I think I remember it coming up multiple times that whenever she was in the studio, he would just kind of simp for her and call her on the phone and try and facilitate, things that she wanted when she was there and endear himself to her. So
and get her naked.
Yeah, when he hears these conversations about her, whatever she has, we're gonna play the clip package. Just know that this is a guy that is probably like harboring feelings for this woman, and not feeling so great that Casey and like all these other guys are getting with her and he can't. So it's that kind of mentality. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, but it's also a certain kind of guy that he is harboring some anger about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And he's the kind of guy that's a fucking creep. So this is Sal on the wrap-up show talking about Miss Howard Stern drinking too much and having an illegitimate child.
I think the deal with the private airplane is that she gets so trashed on that plane, she wakes up with her fucking pants down to her ankles and her puss full of cum.
Exactly, and then you want to know why she has a black kid. I mean, how's that happen?
Whoa!
No, I'm saying.
Whoa!
Where did that come from?
What is that all about?
Hello. Drugs, alcohol, running around like a lunatic. This guy just said she wakes up with a bucket full of cum in her snatch.
No, that's not what we're talking about.
Oh, all right, that's what I thought.
I love that Richard laugh.
Andy, by 100%, please save the clip. The hello.
Yeah,
that is my favorite part of this whole thing. Hello, she had sex with a black guy because she was drunk. Hello,
and then the follow up is one of my favorites. Where do you think she met him at an accounting firm?
What is fascinating to me about the whole thing, it's hilarious, but like his complete disconnect from reality as far as like not getting it the entire time is mind-blowing. He's like, this is obvious. His complete, I always say this, like people say that the word ignorance is like used in a very negative way, but this is like complete ignorance. Like he just does not understand what he's saying, and like all through the entire process, he doesn't understand why it's so controversial.
There was a time where I would 100% agree with that. I still agree with it like 90%, but there's like this 10% part of me that thinks he does get it, except that when it comes to when he starts having to argue about him being in trouble, he suddenly is ignorant. I think there's some aspect of it there where he's like, he understands what he said, but now that there's a possibility of him getting in trouble with Howard, possibly losing his job, he now suddenly starts playing into it and being like, what did I do? I didn't do anything wrong. And
all right, I can see that. All right.
And at this point, they're not even giving him rope to hang himself with. They're
correct.
They're letting him dig his own grave. It's not until the next day when Howard gets wind of it that they start giving him rope to hang himself with.
And also, he also thinks he's being funny right now. Like, this is a little bit of stuttering. There's a little bit of John in here with the whole, when John tries to do his hey, am I the only one that notices this and no one in the room understands what the fuck he's talking about? You know, there's a little bit. There's a little bit of that where he's just like, right, and everyone's like, no, you're very off. You're very wrong about this.
Well, this was also the part where like Gary and like John Hine are like giving him the opportunity to explain himself. And they're hoping that he comes up with, like I said, well, you say she's a size queen, right? Like where you go, oh, she has a have like, because she loves big dicks and black guys have big dicks, right? Like not just like, oh, it would be the worst thing in the world, because that's where he goes with this. I think.
Yep.
I'll wait to let him hang himself here in a minute, where he's just like, oh, it's the worst thing that ever happened. And you know, like, could have just been like, she's a size queen, and could have left it at that.
You know what's so funny is that in hindsight, if you were to say exactly what you're saying, like, you know, he could have saved himself. Instead, he says every wrong thing to possibly say. Like, they gave him a chance. It's exactly what you're saying. They gave him a chance to be like, hey, Sal, maybe you want to reel that in? And he's like, nope.
Exactly. He could have just been like, "Oh wait, I didn't mean it that way."
No,
you know, he could have just said that.
Down.
Yeah.
Yes, and he says every wrong thing, and that's where they're like, "Oh, we can't let this go." Yeah.
I mean, you know,
what does the race of her kid have to do with what she's doing?
Because he's Sal.
That is dude. That's way off. That's totally racist.
I'm not being racist at all. I mean,
explain how.
Sal, that's the definition of being a racist. No, it's not.
That's the most racist thing I've ever heard.
Listen, come on. Hello, you. We live in America. You have a nice, sweet, Snow White blonde chick running around swigging booze. Hello, a black kid pops out of her uterus. So how did that happen?
Unbelievable.
I mean, he thinks he is holding court, and like, you know, like he thinks he's being hilarious right now, and it's just it is so funny because we know how stupid he is. Like, if these words were to come from Daniel Carver, it would put like a very dark tone on it. You're like, man, that's so wrong. What a piece of shit. But they're coming from Sal, who's just an ignorant monkey. And you're just like, wow, this guy's just dumb. Let's fuck with him.
I feel like what's crazy is like how I don't know how old he is at this point, you know, mid-30s, you know, something like that. But it was just like the lack of awareness of like, he thinks like his perspective is the only perspective, right? Where this hello, we live in America, this pristine lily white girl, the you know, that everyone holds up as like the best thing in America, is just like, dude, what are you talking about? You know, like he just thinks that like this is the most natural thing, that this is everyone's perspective. These thumbnails are great.
How do I get out of this?
He looked like,
all right.
Andy, do you know my old boss Chuck? Like, have you met Chuck before? Oh yeah, he was the photographer at your wedding.
Yes,
he looks kind of like Chuck.
Don't dox. Yes, you're right.
I'm not saying his last name.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, I'm fucking up the show trying to.
No, it's fine. You're fine.
But
we're fucking around.
Yeah. All right. Let's hear more.
This is a hobby.
Yeah, exactly. And no, it's not going to play for me. All right, I was fucking it up, so that's. I don't blame it.
Hey, this is all going to get cut. We can say whatever we want. 9/11, we can say whatever we want.
Yeah, right. The best thing that could happen would be if somebody got offended by something we said.
If a white kid
what do you think she met him at? An accounting firm? I mean,
that's my favorite line.
I'm going to do you the biggest favor in the world. I'm going to move along.
Wow. What I'm saying. What's the surprise? She had she.
What does it matter what kind of kid she had?
It doesn't. But what's the odds of a chick like that having a black one?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Drugs, alcohol. It does these things.
Stop.
Please stop. My God, take a hint. He doesn't even realize that they're trying to
help him,
stop him from committing career suicide. Which I in the long run, I guess he didn't. But
do you remember? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was just going to say that he. It's not like he did end up getting fired. If anybody else said this type of stuff in the workplace, they would.
Yeah. Do you guys remember like this era of Sal where he was still just not sure about his placement in the company, and there was a weird balance of him saying shit that was outrageous. I don't know if it was totally sincere.
Pre 143.
Well, yeah, this was pre 143. But at some point, I remember right there when he talks about like to Joe's point, where he's like, this is what everyone's thinking. He used to do this weird thing where he used to come up with percentages of or like statistics for what people liked, or like he would just come up like, here's a specific example I've never forgotten, was when it's revealed that he likes looking at porn of people pissing on women.
The piss porn, yeah,
right. And at some point, like Gary asks him, how much do you think this is normal? He goes, I think it's very normal. I think everyone's into this. And then they say, give me a percentage. He goes, 30%. I think 30% of people are into this. And the joke was, they start asking him, how'd you come up with that number?
Me and King of All Blacks.
Yeah. And literally he was just fine with coming up with a statistic. And so I feel like this is like so in line with that mindset of him just being like, what's the problem? Everyone thinks the way I do. And here's a percentage. And he breaks it all down to rationalize every bit of what he's saying.
Yeah,
So,
we talked about this with Frank Dukes and also with guys like Stuttering John that grew up pre-internet and don't realize that everything can be fact-checked in the moment. And it's just a level of stupidity and like an antiquated approach to life. And a lot of people still need to, like your grandparents call and say that, how do I do this? And the answer is always just Google it.
Yeah, right.
Old people still don't get that it's that easy.
That's the IT department is just Google.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing to me, like as I'm listening to this, is like the wrap-up show was like almost rehearsal or whatever for, it was obviously second tier to the main show, right?
Yeah.
And he's like talking himself right off the wrap-up show. Like getting onto the main show, is just like he doesn't even seem to understand that he's talking himself out of being invited onto the wrap-up show. Let alone, the only thing that's saving him right now is that they can prank him and everything onto the main show and everything. It's just like his lack of awareness of like what you're doing in the workplace or whatever. Like I don't know. His lack of awareness is fascinating. That's
his value now is being cannon fodder. And Howard reckons that's why Howard is so great.
Fucking foreskin.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would say that's something that stops me from wanting to listen to the show. But what's
in my pouch?
Yeah. Here's a little more.
We talk about what's in my pouch a lot.
All right, this goes on and on.
Can you imagine Kelly Pickler banged a black guy? I'll father be back in jail for killing him too. That's how these Southern people are. These Southern people are crazy. Don't blame me. Blame the people in the South. They're nuts.
Don't blame me. Blame the people in the South.
Yeah, because famously the people in the South are cool with their women banging black guys. That's always been their track record.
But that's what he's saying is in a weird way, in a weird, very roundabout way, trying to step back from what he just said, where he's saying, so that's what Southern people do. Don't blame me. That's where it came from.
Did you cut it, or did you clip the part where he's just like, oh, it's just like the classic, like the classic worst nightmare of a father,
Joe? If you would let the clips play, then
I said, did we get to that?
No,
I said, clip it? Did you clip it? That's what I said.
Hold on. What Sal was implying, that is, if you leave a really horrible lifestyle and do everything wrong, that the result is you end up with a black kid. That's what you were implying.
Yeah, well, not implying.
He's directly saying that.
Worse, like whatever happened.
There's no implication whatsoever.
Yeah, he's that flat out stating it.
Yeah, like a moron on Sirius But I mean, they were getting listeners in the millions at this time too.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, this is the most popular show on
What-
almost
yeah.
any platform.
I was
This
the target
was
audience because this is when
fanatical.
I was driving from New York to Virginia, so I would listen to the Stern show, and then I would listen to the wrap up show, and then I would listen to the replay. It was just like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
people were listening to this shit, all
And then
day.
you're pissed off, and then you're listening to the news, and then you're listening, and then you're pissed off because he's a day off, and then you're like, I'll listen to it again just because there's nothing else on. That's what.
God.
I don't know. Andy and I are almost like 50. Okay, so if you don't know,
Everything you said, I can relate to. It was my exact scenario where I had an hour and a half drive to work. So I listened to it. I got pissed off when Howard took too many vacations. I got pissed off when he ended the show too early. I got pissed off when I thought he was going to be on and he wasn't. Everything you said, I can relate to. Yes.
Yeah.
I was working 4 10s, and I had like 4 appointments, and I was working 4 10s, and I was in the car all the time with Sirius, and I'd be like, fucking, it's Friday. He's not on, whatever, how am I going to, do 10 hours of windshield time, with nothing to listen to or whatever.
Yep.
But really what it is, for people who don't understand, is that there was nothing like this. There's like no internet porn, or I mean, there was, or whatever. But
there's plenty.
There, at the time, it was like not as prevalent, and like the style of like raucous content that you were getting from here was not something that you could get everywhere. This was like a fanatical fan base, whereas just like, my point being, like, we couldn't get enough. It was just like, fuck, he's off. Fuck this. It's just like, we just want more and more and more. It was just like a very, very one of the most popular. There was nothing like it. Nothing like it. Still nothing like it, really.
Mrs. Greenberg never got it. She never understood my obsession. But I listened to Howard every single day that he was on with a new show for close to 25 years. And I was so fucking loyal. And this era of what we're talking about was so fresh and so new, but so goddamn funny for 6 hours a day, 4 days a week. It was mind-blowing that literally I would listen to it on my way to work. I'd listen to it again at work. I'd listen to it when I got home because it was so funny and there was so much going on. So I hear you. I totally feel you.
And let me clarify something too, because I was saying like internet porn or raucous. That's not it. What we're doing here, the whole thing, like them pranking him and making him squirm, and them like manipulating the situation and making it awkward and everything. That's what was really the best part of the show. And the infighting, like Stuttering John versus Artie, or Sal calling Artie a middler, like that type of shit was so good. And excuse me, any of that type of shit. Yeah, that's what really made it good.
And Richard Christie's prank phone calls.
Yeah, not couch and Miss Howard Stern's boobs. That was not the best part.
Kakioki.
I shoot the van.
It was such a great move to remove the Sibian and go to Kakioki. Thanks, Marcy.
To be freaking strung up.
So anyway,
that's the lynching that needs.
This happens on the wrap-up show. The show proper gets wind of it and decides that Sal needs to be fucked with. So these next couple of clips are them setting Sal up, and this is the setting the table of the request for the apology, which is the whole reason for that we're doing this episode. But a fake HR representative is going to call Sal.
Hello.
Is this Sal Governale?
Yes.
Sal Governale. This is from Human Resources. I've been trying to reach you. You were on the wrap-up show this afternoon on Howard Stern.
Right.
And you made some offensive comments. We've had several complaints. One of the sponsors is threatening to pull out. Some serious employees who heard the comment are very upset.
Hold on 1 second.
So
He panics. Yeah.
He panics and he calls Gary, who is already in on it, and Gary is just gonna throw Sal like right under the bus and just continue to fuck with him.
If only Miss Howard Stern's baby daddy pulled out. But anyway, tack a hat on that.
And don't forget that he is Sal's boss.
Yeah, exactly.
Only because he was on the wrap-up show with you today, and he made some offensive comments, and we really need to rectify the situation.
Right. All right. So so you obviously have some sort of an idea that you guys have in mind. Let me let you talk to Sal for a second.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, yeah. I had to pass it to Gary because he runs the whole thing. Yes, I just wanted to make sure.
He didn't make the comments, Mr. Governale, you did, and so that's why we need to talk to you. Now, we want to rectify this. What we've come up with, there's going to be an emergency meeting today at about 3 o'clock, and we would like for you to record it.
That's probably what sets him into panic mode. It's an emergency meeting about whether
she doesn't,
I'm going to be fired.
She doesn't really say who's going to be at the emergency meeting or the details of the emergency meeting, which would all have been questions I would ask, but that was just enough. Sal's like, holy shit, emergency meeting with Mr. Serious.
Yeah. There's a couple of things that would be red flags to me or anybody with a fucking thinking brain where they're like, what we've come up with to rectify this. Like, that's not how HR works. HR doesn't come up with things. They have policies that they enforce. Right?
Yep.
They're just like, how are we going to figure this out for Sal? That's not how this works. And like, we're going to have a meeting. No, there's no meeting. It's you, your boss, and HR. That's how that fucking works.
What you're describing is, it's somebody you could be like, oh, well, we've never had this level of stupidity and racism coalesce like this in the workplace. So there was no policy for it.
Come up with this.
Yeah.
We believe that 13 is the proper amount of tomatoes we should throw at you.
What we've come up with is 13 tomatoes
to allow you to continue working here, sir.
Yeah. We sent a survey out to a bunch
explain why you made these comments, to express remorse for these comments, and we'd like it to be played on the wrap-up show tomorrow. But before it's played, they need to be approved at this meeting. So can you do that? It's really important.
Sure.
We're going to have to talk about doing some sensitivity training as well, and I think that'll be helpful.
Okay.
We've had several problems.
Do you want me to address this as an apology?
It's important that you explain why you said the comments and why you're sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you do it on a CD and I'll pick it up? It'll be easier.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Okay.
Not a problem. I'll take care of that right now.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
I appreciate your cooperating.
My pleasure.
Okay. Bye-bye.
We'll just...
Oh, sure. Okay. Okay.
Amazing.
All right.
Fuck all
Now, the other thing that we talked about that was so incredible with this is how the rest of the staff who aren't even typically they're all part of the show. You would recognize everybody, but Robin and specifically Gary in these next two clips. This is Gary selling the bit and talked about the importance of straight men in the past and the awareness of how important they are in comedy. We at Hackamania, Cardiff and Tukey both played embarrassing bits from their childhood. Rocco played a video of him doing stand-up and bombing, and then that allowed everybody to make jokes at his expense. So to have a straight man to allow the funny people to be funny is very important, especially in a prank scenario like this. And this is Gary.
Whether you like it or not.
But you're
You know what
saying
I'm
that
trying to
black
say?
was in the equation because of drinking.
that?
No, I'm saying the baby was in the equation because drinking.
That's not what you said
I
yesterday.
know, but the baby happened to be black, so I said black baby.
Real quick, can I just add a little context to this?
Yes.
That if you remember on the show, this was a feed that came in unexpectedly during the live broadcast of the show.
Correct.
So they're just like Howard is in the middle of talking, and then all of a sudden this audio just popped up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Artie says, "What the hell is that?" They don't realize this is happening in real time.
Like in the producer studio or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that is important for this version. Well, like, we played the payoff to this on the Patreon. If you want to see the Stern Show clip proper of like the Sal figuring out that he's being pranked, that is over on our Patreon. So please go sign up for that. But you're right. I did not mention that this is like all of these. Well, the next clips, because we're gonna have the clips of Richard's involvement as well, and then the apology recording at the end. So when I was saying that Gary is so integral in this is Gary really making Sal think that he is in trouble.
Oh yeah,
and Gary knows that he's not, and that's why Gary's so good here. But I did fail to mention that we're all listening to this like fly on the wall kind of style, and Howard and Artie and Robin are all listening to it in the studio, fly on the wall style, but then telling us their thoughts about it too. But because YouTube is shitty about airing serious content, I didn't include a lot of that.
I understand.
All right. Also, I'm very high.
Now, come on, man.
Listen to me.
You should at least
Listen.
fess up and just fucking embrace it and do
I
it.
am fessing up. I'm saying it's a joke, but secondly, Gary, do you know what I'm playing off of? I'm playing off I'm playing off of the old thought that the worst thing a father wants to see is his beautiful white girl. But we've all said this before in the end. The worst thing a father wants to see is his beautiful white daughter marrying or having sex with a black guy.
Okay.
It's like,
this is where we begin to realize that he really doesn't fucking get it still. He's still
he's playing off that idea. What do
yeah,
you mean?
yeah. Can you believe
You
it?
just don't get comedy, Gary.
Yeah, I know. You fucking idiot.
I love that it takes him like it also takes him like a second to like gather his thoughts. You know what I'm playing off of here is that thing.
Right. The thing we all think, right? No.
Yeah.
No.
That classic all-American. It's like hot dogs, baseball, and God forbid my daughter bang a black guy. Yeah.
I think we're about to come up on my absolute favorite line and of this whole saga. I think it's right around the corner.
Oh, fantastic.
I wonder she had a black baby. And how would that make you feel if you were
It
black?
doesn't know. It would make.
Whatever words a black
God bless that black guy. You got to shag a hot white chick. What do you want from me?
Okay. For me.
So
yeah, that's just him trying to defend himself. He's spiraling, and
don't use the word shag in your defense.
well, Austin Powers was really big at this point.
The only other person I've heard use the word shag, is Austin Powers and John Melendez.
God. So at this point, it's going to go to the feed of Richard.
That's all you need to say.
The best.
So Gary is being bad cop, and now Richard is going to be good cop. Is basically what's happening here. And
I worship Richard Christie. Richard Christie is like just such an absolute genius with everything he does, and I love him so much.
He's a national treasure.
You know what? It'll all blow over in a day. Nobody will even remember this.
Gary said there's absolutely no talk about this tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think this will even come up tomorrow.
This is crazy. Bullshit, man, motherfucker, man. What the fuck? Can't fucking believe this shit. I'm telling you, man. What the fuck?
Well, don't let it stress you out.
Don't stress me out. Fucking human resources. They're having an emergency meeting.
Wait, right here.
This is another fucking thing. When you apologize, you're proving that you're wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. I said she got drunk and had a black kid.
Oh, wait. Oh, damn it.
I have more.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just crazy.
We'll keep going. Just keep going.
Yeah,
All right.
keep going.
Here, let me get the other one pulled up here.
My favorite line is, I think, like the next sentence.
The two of this like New York Italian with
Kansas City redneck.
Kansas hick. What a pair. What a comedy pair they are in real life. It's so good. I don't know like how they manifested this or like who put that together is a genius. I don't know if it's Howard or Gary or whatever, but that duo is just excellent.
Yep.
Well, I got your back, buddy. I know, like you didn't mean anything bad, but
I didn't mean anything. The girl got fucking drunk and had sex with a guy. But because I threw a black kid, people automatically assume that I was being racist. Every fucking day, man. Now an emergency meeting over this? I didn't have the kid, she did. She should have the fucking meeting.
That's my favorite line right there.
Play this at the wrap-up show. How
Intervention.
She should have the fucking meeting.
Is that what you're upset about, having to go to the meeting?
Like when I heard that the first time, I think I like almost passed out from laughing. It's still fucking funny. She had the kid. She should have the fucking meeting. That's the greatest line.
Yeah, because he means she should have an intervention over.
Yes.
And not over drugs and alcohol, about having
a black kid. He says that. He goes, she had the kid, not me.
Unbelievable.
It's so great.
All right. There's a little bit more of Richard's involvement here.
To talk to Gary about seeing if Howard can like extend the show. So
yeah, right. Yeah, that's what I mean. He's gonna really think I'm nuts.
Maybe he'll throw you a bone.
What this is? You gotta be kidding me.
People are sensitive these days.
It's terrible, man. I got fucking black friends all over.
Little
the place.
did he know.
Yeah, Kevin Lofton's a good friend of mine. I got black friends at home and shit.
Yeah, right.
Okay, real quick. Kevin
Lofton
was the guy who did the animations for the show that animated Eric the Midget. So when he says, I got black friends all over the place, Kevin Lofton is basically an employee.
Yeah.
Serious.
Kevin Lofton, Beetlejuice. These are all my friends.
Riley Martin.
Yeah. the people that you have to pay me to hang out with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real class act.
At least this isn't as bad as getting caught jacking off.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Dark Side Phil might disagree.
Depends on who catches me, I guess.
Oh man, I love that so much.
It all comes down to this. There's a couple of different takes, but I'm just like, we don't need to play every take because you hear him start and then kind of hem and haw about having to do it, but this is the reason for the season. This is the apology.
Hi, this is Sal Governale. And yesterday I said a few comments that offended a few people. And I'd like to extend my apologies for those comments. Unfortunately, I didn't represent myself properly on how I wanted to explain myself. I have a tremendous respect for all cultures and all races. If I did offend or hurt anybody, I again extend my most sincere apologies. Thank you very much for understanding, and I greatly appreciate your time.
I couldn't tell, was that Luigi or Artie?
It was a combination of the two, but it was a lot of that was Artie.
Yeah.
Dude, I just love stupid people like talking too much, or like write it out and read it. You know, like it's just like
describing our show, Joe.
A few and myself and comments too much. Like I just had a few comments that the few comments that I made don't represent myself the proper way I wanted to represent myself. It's like you're repeating yourself, and that's the sign of an idiot.
Yeah.
Sal was also like a real proponent king of trying to sound smarter than he actually was. You know,
right.
And so there's so much of that overconfidence in this, where he really thinks that this is being or at least conveying a sense of sincerity, even if it's not sincere. You know, he's confident about this. He's like, yeah, I fucking nailed it.
Right. It's like in Mr. Mom, where he goes, 220, 221, whatever it takes. It's just like your comment reveals that you know nothing. Like, you know, it's just like you just reveal yourself to be a fool.
As a lawyer, I got to tell you, there is a daily fear of saying a comment that makes it appear to everyone that I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm telling you, I'm not even joking about this. This sounds like I'm kidding. Sal Governale is like the guy in my brain of don't be Sal. Like at this meeting, I might not know what everyone is talking about. Just don't fucking say anything and look like Sal.
Well, I've got to tell you that I love hearing that because I mean, there's just it's a imposter syndrome. I think anybody with a modicum of self-awareness has like a degree of imposter syndrome, and to hear a lawyer say that is comforting to the rest of the world, in my opinion. Because just like,
I don't know what you're talking about. I think I'm killing it with this new studio.
Believe me.
Yeah.
There's plenty of examples of lawyers who sit in on meetings and are not up to speed with the content, and they're trying to catch up as they go. And I've witnessed it. I've been that person, but I'm telling you, there is a time that you just tell yourself, just shut up and listen.
So, I'm not going to ask you to tell me more about the lawyering you do or personal information, but I will say this about myself, that I once had a lawyer and I lost a lot of confidence when we had to postpone the proceedings because she was going on a Sister Hazel cruise. And we could have done it a week after this, but we had to wait over a month because she was going to see Sister Hazel on a cruise ship. And I'm like, I think I've made a poor choice in my
yeah.
Oh my God.
Hard to Say by Sister Hazel, Luigi?
Yeah, they played Hard to Say and Hard to Say.
How many days at sea do you need to play one song?
Yeah, how many days? Fucking my lawyer likes a one-hit wonder, and they like him so much that they're going on a fucking cruise.
Wow,
I'm concerned.
I've been in a situation very similarly. I can't remember all of the details, but it wasn't the lawyer; it was the judge who was taking a weird vacation, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was a situation where we all looked at each other and we're just like, "Are we okay that this is our judge?"
I don't know. This is way off topic, but I'm going to say this for our audience here. What you might not know, if you ever get into legal trouble, what's going to fuck you over is everyone else's schedule that's required to be there.
That's true.
Not what you did. Everyone else involved now is going to fuck you over.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's true. And then I'm not a courtroom lawyer.
Okay.
I was at one point.
Okay.
But what's interesting is how much you're allowed to just simply say, I don't want to go. I don't feel like showing up today. And they will give you allowances with no explanation required. That you're just simply allowed to say, how many more times do I get to say I don't want to show up? And they'll be like, two. All right. Well, I'm using one today.
Yeah. And then the next time you finally show up, the judge is like, the stenographer can't even today, so it's postponed again.
I one time had a trial. I'm not even kidding. I did the whole postponement, showed up for trial, and the judge said, yeah, we got a really hefty schedule. Let's just reschedule this trial because, I just don't think we're going to get through it all today. And I was like, okay.
Here's a phrase you don't want to hear when you're the defendant. That time doesn't really work for me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So do we all accept Sal's insincere racist apology?
No. Sal was trying to save his job. That is it. He would not have given an apology. He would not have known what he was doing wrong until it was pointed out to him. And then that becomes a very recurring scenario with Sal is, Sal, do you realize why this was wrong? No. Well, then let's tell you why you're wrong. And then he'll be like, nah, I think you're off. Like, again, like the whole trying to go to Howard's house. They were like, Sal, do you know how off base it is to say what you're saying? I think you're right. He literally told Gary, I think you're off base on this one.
That was incredible. Like him trying to go to, that's absolutely amazing. And that's like audio history of somebody being insane. And even with this, go find the redo of the apology. Right, there's so much more to dive into this.
Yeah, it's and the way that they got everyone and I'm going to say roughly a dozen people to all fuck with Sal and not let him in on the joke for over, I'm going to say, 12, 15, 16 hours, how no one was willing to give him an inch on that is brilliant and amazing.
Yeah.
I think I have the perfect drop for this one, Joe.
Shut the fuck up!
We haven't used that one in a while.
That's a good one, and yes, apt. I would say that that is appropriate for this.
Yeah, and I would say that would be worthy of a deeper dive over on another show that you might be familiar with, Luigi. Do you want to plug any plugs that you like to plug?
Fridays, Skeptical Robot at 7 Eastern. We are a show that really just started getting into every type of grifter and con artist that's out there who's just trying to steal your money. He's trying, and we really just try to break down people who try to convince you of extraordinary things in order to steal from you. This past weekend, or I'm sorry, this past episode, we had DJ Electra Fry on, and we talked about ghost hunting equipment. And basically how it's all just equipment that was made for a completely different purpose, but someone just decided to make a completely unsubstantiated link to ghosts and charge more for it. And it was actually way more interesting than I expected it to be, doing all that research. And this Friday, we will be watching Miami Connection. And then, I'm sorry? And
I'll be on it.
Andy's going to be on it. And then on Monday, we're going to have a special episode after Friday, on Monday the 23rd, with guest Shuli Agar, in which we are going to be talking about a prolific con man, Joshua Fabia. If you don't know the story, I suggest you not look it up, because it is a rabbit hole. I don't know if we're even going to be able to cover everything, but it has comedy, it has like tears, it has drama, it has sadness, but ultimately it is a very fascinating story about a guy who convinced a very, very wealthy, famous MMA fighter that he was the Messiah.
Jesus. That's great.
I'm very intrigued by this.
And also a CIA hitman. Seriously, I'm not joking. He really did.
I can't say enough good things about Skeptical Robot. It took me a minute to get to really find it and figure out what it. But the format of the show and the topics that you cover on there are so damn interesting.
Thank you.
You do it in a really funny way and
What's the best way? Is it YouTube or podcast? What's the best way?
I'm so sorry. YouTube, my channel is at Papa, PAPA _Electrico. When I got into the Dabbleverse, I was a big fan of Cardiff, and that is electric potato in Spanish. And it was supposed to be a homage to him, and it just stuck with me, and I haven't gotten rid of it.
But yeah, it's great on YouTube. There's a great video element, especially Gummy Chainsaw getting in the mix.
Gummy Chainsaw, our producer, is amazing. So I do the show with Corn Diff. Gummy Chainsaw makes these insane creative animations for us that everyone we're scoring 1,000 on them with our guests. We make intros for our guests, and they're great.
Yeah, we've played them on here. They're awesome. I love it.
And Corn Diff will, he just looks, he's like the baby Yoda of the show. You're just like, and he's there.
He's adorable.
And he throws in a zinger every once in a while. And then he gets his groove on and everybody loves it. So it's a fun show. And I can't wait to get back over there for Miami Connection.
Yes. Looking forward to it.
We'll have you back, Luigi.
Please, I'd love to.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding. I want to have you come back and we're about to deep dive on Owen Cook is a Andrew Tate, only a total loser. He has no business doing what he does.
That's
people
funny.
How to live their life. And actually, we were going to go down to Philadelphia with Tony from Hack the Movies to attend. He's going to be in Philadelphia. I don't think it's going to work.
We wanted to. We're not doing that.
Yeah, we wanted to, but I think he charged. It's $25, but you get it back if you want it back or something like that. That's how you know it's a grift, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
this is clearly a grift.
Oh,
I
boy.
paid $25 to get in, but I can have it back. And then, you know, it's just like, I don't know what it is. And then they hold
I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued.
Yeah,
we'll tell you all about
we'll
it.
tap you because it's definitely a grift.
Well, thank you so much for having me, guys. I do have to get out of here. It's been fun. I appreciate it. And yeah, let's please do this again.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Adios.
For Luigi Greenberg, for Joe Sixpack, I'm Trucker Andy saying,
Stay sorry.